Hello and welcome to another episode of Nothing and Like It, the only podcast that chronicles the FWA via its appearances on television. Smell the glove, I am Kieran Lefort, and joining me as always, taste the rainbow, it's Andy Ogden. Andy, how you doing?
I am the happy ray of sunshine on a Sunday afternoon, even though it's pissing it down.
Oh, did that for me earlier. It must have gone further north. I've got the nice happy rays of sunshine now. And, of course, slap the porpoise is Eddie Sideburns. Eddie, how are you?
I thought you were going to go with, like, why does it always rain on him, Eddie Sideburns, because I'm Scottish. I'm doing not bad. It's actually not bad today. I mean, Scotland, has, I think we have decent weather for the moment, but then I saw the headline something about thunderstorms and stuff like that, and I'm like, oh, I'm not looking forward to this. But what I am looking forward to is talking about some FWA. Let's go.
Tremendous. So, this episode, I thought we could have a little break from the usual TV format. We have been doing 2 episodes of TV every month for about a year, however long it's been. Part 1 of that break was our interview with John Atkins, which, in a peek behind the curtain, was originally supposed to be part of this show, but was so good we decided to release it by itself. If you haven't heard that already, stop this one and listen to that one first. Like, that is a great 90 minutes. I don't very often blow the trumpet of this show, but it's well worth it. He was a brilliant, brilliant guest. Part 2 of this little break is this, which technically was never aired on TV, but I'm going to use the loophole that it was advertised as a TV taping. And, as you can see from the hard cam, I taped it. We've been asked several times by several people if we're ever going to start a Patreon. And while we are all flattered that people want to give us money, the facts are that we simply don't do enough numbers to make it worthwhile. Talking about a long-dead British wrestling company from 20 years ago that drew under 2,000 at its absolute peak and even then only ever did that twice is a niche within a niche within a niche.
I mean, if you want to send us like £5 each and tell us something you want recorded, then we might be imposed in doing it. But,
You heard it here first. Sideburns Can Be Bought. £5 Star Wrestling. The amount of work that would need to go into a Patreon as well in order to make something good enough to be worth subscribing to, because anybody who paid money, I wouldn't want to rip them off with shite. It's just many orders of magnitude above what the return would be for even a solo creator, even before you start thinking about splitting that 3 ways as we'd have to here. We do this because we enjoy it. I do it because I enjoy it. Don't know about the other 2. They just can't back out now. They still thought it was a good idea at the time. Now they can't get out. It will always be free. And if you want to give back, buy us a drink if you see us at a show. Or send Eddie a $5 and try and persuade him to talk about whatever the fuck it is you want to talk about. Like I said, he can be bribed.
I love the fact that you said shite and then immediately I looked at Andy Ogden because obviously his show's called Muck, sorry. Is it Muck?
No, it's called Shite again.
It's back to being shite. But that's free. Like, that's not behind a paywall.
No.
Unless you've told Matty it is and he doesn't know. All of this is to say, what we're doing today, I guess, is a sample of what would be on a Patreon if we had one. So still relevant, but a slight deviation from the mission statement. Supplemental material, if you like. I don't plan on making a habit of this. I just thought we could do with a break from the telly. So, after promising that we would never see this hellhole again, we are back at the Southbury Leisure Centre for the TV taping that wasn't a TV taping. The heads are being shaken all over my screen right now.
Fucking Hoop Dreams.
Hoop Dreams, and one of my favourite bits, in the same shot as the hoops, an open fire exit where you can see the ring van and 3 blokes having a chat.
I wanted to know, who was that big fella stood next to the entranceway? And who were the 2 ladies?
That is Russ Rogers, who would very often be a security guard, and he was an occasional wrestler. He was more prominent in IPW, where he was their head of security, and got dragged into doing some angles and eventually a couple of matches. They would do an annual battle royal, and like a couple of times he would like step through the railing, pull off his security shirt, and do some spots in the Rumble before getting chucked out. He's a really nice bloke.
Basically a bigger version of John Atkins trying to win the Rumble.
Think of me as the UK's Doug Dellinger, but without the racism.
I mean, as soon as I saw Enfield, I went, Enfield, where wrestling goes to die.
It does indeed, yeah. So, in 20 years of hindsight, this was kind of an indicator of how much attention Alex was paying to the TV show and the level of communication within the company. This had been plugged for 2 or 3 weeks on TV as being a TV taping. And perhaps because of that, it looks to have had a healthy crowd. Like, there's a decent turnout in that building. So I turned up with, / was part of, a 3-man camera team that I have booked. And it looks to be me and Russ, not that Russ, at ringside, and then Ian Dewhurst on hard cam. And Alex is looking all confused. And he says this one isn't being taped. And I think he might have even tried to get us to shoot it for free. And I told him, this has been advertised as a TV taping. This is the first I've heard otherwise. You've had 2 or 3 weeks of seeing it advertised as a TV taping on television. And your choices are, you pay us full rate to tape it, or you pay us our expenses and we go home and you don't get a product. He picked the former, obviously. I guess he then worked out a deal with the promoter Sanjay Bagga to get a DVD made to try and get some of that money back, because this didn't come out until the next year, long after I was gone. So we see all over this the logo for Wrestle Stuff. WrestleStuff.com, yeah. That was a Sanjay Bagga venture, possibly in association with Fozzie Maddock, but I don't know. I'd have to talk to him about that.
Funnily enough, Kieran, I've looked up this website today.
You haven't?
No, it's still live, WrestleStuff.com.
Yeah, it's not his. It's not Bagga's.
No, it's all like shit wrestling figures for like $3, $5. It's like a car boot sale online.
It really is. So he must have let that lapse, because he also had WrestleStuff.co.uk, which was sold to whatever UK Wrestling World was. And the only evidence I can find of that is a single page of a completely cooked website from 2006.
You'd think it, I don't know, you imagine it redirecting you to Tesco's and the sandwich section, because we're known for that.
There is a click through to the LDN website, so that's what Sanjay Bagga's promotion is now. The FWA would run 2 more shows at the Southbury Leisure Centre, both in 2005. New Frontiers on May the 7th, and then a second round robin in July. This time, it was Johnny Storm, Jody Fleisch, Spud, and Colt Cabana in the tournament.
Fucking hell, that's a good one, isn't it?
Yeah, it did 300 people. And then after that, Bagga had already started LDN wrestling in November 2004 after the FWA went dark again. He took over the venue as LDN in 2006 and then ran it 3 times a year until 2009. The building still exists, and at least a photo I could find from January this year still had those disgusting green walls. 2 of them have been repainted blue and 2 of them are still green. So I guess you can have blue screen or green screen depending on what your production demands. So, after all that, you press play on this and you immediately get flashbanged by a bright white screen with the Wrestle Stuff logo on it. Rub your eyes. And then there are some graphics that stylistically immediately make me think Ian edited this. Cannot confirm. We then cross to our unnamed host, who is Ben, whose surname I can never pronounce correctly, but I think it's Sahawan.
I got Ben Shawan.
Yeah, it's definitely spelt wrong in the credits.
Right.
There's an extra vowel in there somewhere. Most people from this era of British wrestling would likely know him as the ring announcer from the Noah Coventry show. Now, in our chat with John, you may remember, he talks about the way he and I would shoot the FWA TV links. Me showing up at his front room, sticking up a green screen, sticking up the camera, and we would do the links like that. This is worse. Ben is in a dark suit against a black sheet which has clearly been taped to a wall. How do we know? Because you can see the tape and the wall. All you need to do was zoom in by 2% and this will get cut off. This looks diabolical. I had to stop for 5 minutes because I couldn't stop laughing at how cheap this looked. He is claiming to be live at the Southbury Leisure Centre. He runs down the participants as being Jack Xavier, Aviv Mayan, James Ty, and Spud, and says the winner will receive £5,000.
My ass.
If £5,000 came anywhere near this production, I will be shocked.
I don't think they even got that through the door, did they? $5,000.
The money was just resting in Alex Shane's account, and then we promised whoever won this that they would move it in.
I was going to say, this is why he was pissed at having to shell out 200 quid for three cameramen. He then throws to John Atkins in a horrible widescreen frame in the ring with the Wrestle Stuff logo on it. Thankfully, this is dreadful, but thankfully only pops up for entrances. He tells us that James Ty is out due to illness.
Oh, what a shame.
A replacement has been found, but he doesn't know who that is yet. See, communication within the FWA. He reads the rules on the scoring, which it's the same as season's beatings. 20 points for pin or submission, 15 for DQ or count out, 10 each for a draw, and 0 for a loss. And then finally, 10 minutes into our recording, it's time for our first match, which is Jack Xavier versus Spud. No flamey name graphics here. This one has the wrestler's name in a broken concrete type font on one side, and then a bit on the other side that says WrestleStuff.com, the round robin tournament, one night, one prize, one something I couldn't read, and then because you cannot read what the rest of this thing says. It looked fucking horrible.
You were about to break out to One Vision there by Queen at that point when you were thinking.
I wish. That would have been better. According to his music, Spud is apparently a robot because it opens up with all sorts of bleeps and bloops.
It sounded like Alex Shane's opening, didn't it? Nearly showing 5 seconds. Spud.
I'm going to bake it. I guess it was just something from like Ralph's vault that he found.
Yeah.
This is our first time seeing Spud on this show, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Someone who would go on to be possibly the most successful ever to go through the FWA, not including the imports, given he for a long time has been a writer and producer for WWE. So Spud had a few matches on the Northern shows before this, but I think his actual TV debut will be a match with James Ty that hasn't happened yet. He had been a hot prospect on the British circuit for about a year and was supposed to debut earlier, but had a match with Burchill on an FWA Academy show that ended when Paul got a concussion and Spud broke his own arm.
Jesus.
Yeah. I can't find a record of it on Cage Match but I know it exists because I've seen it. Like, I used to have the tape of it. Spud would be a fixture in the FWA from 2005 until 2011, so we're not going to get to see a lot of him. My next note says before the bell rings, but on this whole show, a bell never rings because they clearly forgot it. At least they didn't do the usual thing when they forgot the bell, which was bang a spanner against the railings. When they did that on actual TV tapings, I then had to dub in bell.wav over the top. So, yeah, before the bell rings, in inverted commas, we get Tale of the Tape, which is just some alleged facts about both men. Spud is 2004's hottest new star, always the plucky underdog and new to the FWA scene. Xavier has victories over many top stars, very high pain threshold, but is too focused on Haid Vanson, where of all words, two is spelt wrong. Wouldn't be British wrestling without a spelling mistake, and this one is consistent throughout the show. Also, it's not a Tale of the Tape because there's no measurements. That's the tape they're referring to. It's not Tale of the videotape, it's Tale of the Tape measure. Right, so 15 minutes into our recording, Spud sticks out his hand, Xavier refuses it, he's all intense and focused. If you have ever wanted to hear every single noise Andy Quilden makes as a referee, this is the show for you.
They were fully manic, weren't they?
He might as well have been.
What do you say? Do you give up? Do you tap? No. Is it like one of the things about this venue is the fact that because obviously the crowd is diminished, it's not a big crowd in terms of that from what it looks like, and they're not heavily into it to begin with. You're very much able to hear kind of a lot of the stuff that's going on in the ring. So
the other thing is there's no commentary.
Yes.
And the audio has been through a heavy compressor, which brings up quiet noises.
Right.
You hear everything.
And there was an actual move in this match, which is the Andy Quilden's like one of his main comments all the time is "Hi, crossbody block connect."
So it's a lot of early babyface chain wrestling and feeling out moves. These boys love a good headlock. In fact, this show loves a good headlock. Spud does some flipping and flying to get Xavier out the ring and then flattens him with a flip tope. They keep up a pace inside until Jack reverses a flying head scissors into a face-first sit-out thing, which prompts an FWA chant. And he then follows up with this deadly-looking brainbuster and Big E's big ending, but instead of dropping straight down, he throws him up into a stunner. That looked fucking cool. Spud gets a 1 forearm comeback before getting Northern Light suplexed and Liger bombed into oblivion. Jack gets another near fall with a pop-up. That is the thing he does. It's a pop-up spine buster, but with an elbow in it as well. He's the only person I've ever seen do this. And then he puts Spud in the pendulum rocking horse, like Mexican submission hold. Points deducted for not banging his head on the bottom turnbuckle. That's the classic way to do this. They do this long chin lock, and every time Spud fires up, Jack releases, hoofs him in the spine, and puts it back on again. Spud eventually breaks free and puts them both down with a wheelbarrow bulldog. When they get up, Spud goes ham with forearms, chops, and an enziguri before getting his first near fall with the high crossbody off the top that Andy loves so much. Xavier turns a Frankensteiner into a kind of Boston crab over the ropes and then baseball slides Spud off into the barrier.
Did this remind you of Kemonito?
Kemonito, yes.
Kemonito,
I wrote exactly the same thing. Yeah. Yes, that clip of the little mini blue monkey getting sent into the Shadow Realm by Ultimo Guerrero drop kicking him in the back. Yes, exactly that. Spud avoids the second one, hits a super kick, but then he goes for his own sliding drop kick, and Xavier counters by grabbing him in a wheelbarrow position and hurling him into the barricades. At this point, I wrote, lads, this is technically a house show, slow it down.
That guardrail gets some damage during this show from just people going head first.
Heavy abuse.
Yeah.
I can just imagine a promoter looking at that guardrail and all those spots and going, oh no.
Do you watch any DPW? Like, this is someone getting thrown into the chairs and Johnny yelling, not the rentals! Although this belonged to the FWA, so either they cared more or less. I don't. Who can tell with the FWA? So back inside, Xavier with a spine buster, and he thinks it's all over, but Spud kicks out. Crowd are well behind Spud, who escapes the Xaviator, gets the two off a satellite DDT. They do a forearm battle, which sees Jack repeatedly deck Spud, who just won't stay down until a rolling elbow puts him down, and even then he gets his foot on the ropes when Jack covers. Xavier misses a moonsault that would have overshot even if Spud hadn't moved. Spud hits two very loud chops, which I found super impressive, seeing as Jack has 2 layers of t-shirts on as part of his gear. Like, he must have hit him really hard. And then they do this complex series of reversals, ending with Spud bouncing off the top rope over Jack's head into a roll-up for the upset pin.
3.5 stars out of 5. I thought Jack Xavier, now I'm known to hate Jack Xavier.
I know.
I tell you what, he worked great as a bully here.
It's interesting, isn't it? When he's not playing the underdog babyface and he's got someone to push around, completely different wrestler, much more interesting.
Yeah, it was just like, took me by surprise. You mentioned about the crowd being behind Spud. It was funny early doors that there was like, let's go Xavier, and you hear people going, boo. I was like, fucking hell, here we go. The Jack Xavier turns on here.
When he does the Boston Crab thing over the ropes, like, that's when they're really booing him.
Yeah.
Because he's beating up this little guy.
Yeah, plus the move looked shit, didn't it? Absolutely.
I've seen it applied better, let's say that.
Yeah, he weren't studying them Tajiri tapes very well, were they? But, as I mentioned, like I said, Jack as the bigger man, bully, worked here, an improvement. I think best match of the show, 3.5 stars. Spud was excellent here.
Don't forget, this is the first time these people have seen him as well. So, like, in under 15 minutes, he's got himself over.
But it's what I say about, wrestling in 2025. And, you've seen the crowd in Enfield. It had quite a few kids there, and that's what people want to see. It's like, that person's like a superhero to me. And
yeah, you like today. You like Jack Bandicoot, don't you?
Yeah.
I hear you talk about him on GCP, like as having that. So, would you say he's got the same kind of Spud energy?
Correct. Yeah, absolutely correct.
Eddie, how about you?
I put down here, like, I said, ever want to see a guy kill a child? This is what this match feels like in terms of that. Because it just felt like for one, and I did say, like, are we getting a bit more heel Xavier in this match? Is this kind of like, because obviously you can try babyface on babyface, but see, when it comes down to these kind of crowds and stuff like that, they just really want to see a bad guy and a good guy, really, in essence, near. So the missed moonsault by Jack was quite a spectacle in terms of that. I'd probably say 3.5 maybe. I think, I don't Spud for the first time again. It's one of those things where you look at it and go, well, why is this Spud not on TV? Why are we not seeing him being used more like this?
So, like I said, he had done the Northern shows. This is only his 5th match with the FWA.
Yeah, but like, why am I not seeing the best tag team of all time, Spud and Murat Prosperous? Why am I not seeing that? Like, I'm seeing it in cage match. Why am I not seeing that on TV?
Yeah.
Because that seems
So-
like a good idea.
There's mention of a Jack Storm match there. I'm trying to remember it. I can't remember if that actually aired or not. It might, and as I said, it might be that his debut is the James Ty match, which is taped the next month.
Right.
Yeah. I know he wasn't on TV long before being announced for Uprising 3.
But I think this was good, a good wee start off to get the round robin going. Absolutely.
I think on the high man, I went 3 3/4. I really enjoyed this. And I thought it escalated really well from the babyface chain wrestling to all the mad shit on the outside. I don't know if this is his best match, but I think this might be Xavier's best performance because he, as you said, he got to be the bigger guy for a change.
Yeah.
And while not a heel, he was able to bully Spud around, and like they have good chemistry. Slightly, unfortunately, possibly the match of the night. I don't know if you want your opener to be the best match.
You want to get the crowd hot and going and stuff like that, but you don't want it to kind of take over everything in terms of that. But like, you know, it's to set the tone for the rest of the the kind of night. But then we're seeing these guys again going forward in the rest of it, so it kind of makes sense. Just a quick thing as well. I did a quick search thing. Where is our champion? So where is Doug Williams currently at this moment? During this time, he is in Russia taking on Murat Prosperous 2 days before this. 3 days before this, sorry. Which I love the idea of the fact that he's all the way out there.
Finally, on this opener, do you want to know the really crazy thing? As far as I can find out, apart from a battle royal that hasn't happened yet, this is their only ever match together in any combination.
Wow.
Yeah. Which is weird, given they're both from the Midlands. You thought they'd have been on like K-Star or something together. No. This is, as far as I can find out, this is the only time they ever wrestled in any capacity together.
Jeez, oh.
Eddie,
Oh.
that about Doug, is that a new segment we're going to call Where's Williams?
Yeah. I kind of wanted to do something about it because I was like...
I co-sign. Yes, I'm up for this. Yes. If he's not on the... He's our Poochie. If he's not on the show, Eddie should be asking, where's Doug? And finding out for us. Yeah.
No, so going forward, I won't get any music or anything, but we'll do Where's Williams. Might even see if we can do an edit where we have a hat on him and it's like Where's Wally but Doug. But yeah, that's, by the way, that is wild that is the only time they face each other, given the fact that they are both from the Brownie area. Like, but then again, does Xavier last long?
Xavier's career, as far as I can see, was like 5 years max. It was something he came in, did, and then just moved on to, having a proper job in real life.
Fair enough.
So, match number 2. Out comes Aviv Mayan, and just as John is about to announce his opposition, he is interrupted by Alex Shane's music. Out comes Shane, and there have been some budget cuts in the Leather Jacket Protection Agency, as Styx is the only one with him.
You can hear, as Alex Shane's music plays, someone saying, "Oh my God," and I didn't know whether it was like the same way when someone said, "Oh bollocks," when Justin Credible got
Kieran, I was going to say Styx is pulling off a good lookalike of Max from Phoenix Nights.
Yes. I reckon if you did Alex up in the same gear, he would probably look like Paddy.
He would, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, probably saying to V Mayan, how far away is he?
So Shane, of course, as is contractually obliged, takes the microphone. His choice of insult, unfortunately, I'm sorry, is retarded inbred mongoloid dipsticks. That's what he thinks the crowd are. He would go on to use the R word a lot tonight. He says he's here to see wrestling, and wrestlers are big, strapping athletes, and Aviv weighs less than the pick and mix he had at the cinema this afternoon. He says he's throwing out an open challenge. Someone in the crowd says something, and he responds with, "The only challenge you have is going home and telling your mum and dad that you're gay. Send for the man, because Quillen and Atkins have to have a moment in the corner."
I had it in my head.
Andy's corpsing, better send for the man.
Yeah. No, it'll be on a constant loop. We won't be able to stop. So Alex begs anybody to come and fight him. And then when a guy in the audience stands up, he tells him to come over the barrier. And in his baggy shorts and backwards baseball cap, this young fella gets into the ring. What's a baseball cap? Do I mean baseball cap? I think I do.
You know,
He was less Fred Durst, more Fred Worst.
I thought you could say Fred West.
Jesus Christ.
So this young man said he's been trying to get into the FWA, sending Alex tapes, because Alex, of course, is the managing director. Alex asked if they're the Swedish ones with the two hot blondes, and then he's slightly disappointed when he's told no, they're wrestling matches. Alex says if your idea of trying to impress me and get a job is to fight me here, then he'll oblige and sends the guy backstage to get changed. We will discover more about him later on. Alex is also here to introduce James Ty's replacement, which, because he's being introduced by Alex Shane, is, of course, Hade Vanson, who comes out to his new theme tune. Who has comments on this theme tune?
Jungle is massive. Wicked. A fucking banger. That's what I
You like it?
say. Oh, I sent to you. I just put tune.
Yeah. Eddie, any comments, any thoughts?
I had kind of bomb funk MCs freestyling a little bit in my head at points during this. I approve. I think it's quite, and I did also think Ali G kind of vibes a little bit as well. But yeah, I thought this was a good, it's a decent theme song for it. I did think it was Styx taking Ty's place. I thought it was Styx. I thought Styx was going to have a go. But no, instead it's Hade bloody Vance.
That would have saved Alex a wage, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly which show he first used it on, but this is our first time hearing the tune I've always known as Stand Easy. The FWA crowds hated this because they were mostly white and listened to rock and metal, which was riding a bit of a high at the time. So this is prime Kerrang and Scuzz era, and pro wrestling is always rock, metal, nu metal, etc., isn't it? You can't get away from it. This grime track hits, and they all fucking hated it. Which was the point. The heel you're supposed to hate has this music that winds you up. And don't forget, grime itself has only been around as a genre for a couple of years. So this is the rare case of wrestling being on the cutting edge. I remember Ralph telling me he wanted to do something like really like dirty and clubby for Hade, and collaborated with a guy called Rich Bowen. He said he came up with this beat, sent it to Rich and said, right, you need to get in Hade Vanson, South City Thriller, and the vibe is that he's someone not to be messed with. Other than that, do what you like. And this is what came back. And Alex went, Ralph went, I didn't change a bit of it. So, your tail of the tape here. Hade is the current All England champion. Aligned with Alex Shane, can sometimes be too cocky. Aviv, history of big fluke wins, has a never say die attitude and uses a lot of high risk offense. Grapple, like the previous match. Hade is on top because he's big and he's the heel. And then he cockily offers Aviv a free shot, kneeling down with his back to him. I howled when Aviv decided this free shot was going to be a Mongolian chop. And then he puts on a headlock. He snaps off a Rana, a Cazadora, a Ghetto Clutch for a bunch of near falls. And when they start running the ropes, he is stopped by a double palm strike to the stomach, to which someone in the crowd yells, HADOUKEN!
Loved it.
Oh, yeah.
Loved this.
So Vanson stays in control, strikes, throws, misses a running forearm while Aviv is on the apron and tumbles to the floor, where Aviv takes him down with a slingshot Frankensteiner. Hade comes back with a flying knee off the apron and continues battering the alleged Welshman back in the ring. Vanson shows that he knows nothing about guns by pointing an imaginary sniper rifle at Mayan and then racks it like a shotgun before kicking him.
The noises he fucking makes when he's doing that gun thing, it's like, just fuck off.
My voice doesn't go that high.
It's like, what are you doing? Just what are you doing?
I think this is a wrestling thing because Carl Anderson used to rack his imaginary machine gun in New Japan, and you don't do that with machine guns.
No, but they don't understand guns, you know. Except maybe that.
Good. I think that's probably a good thing if he doesn't understand firearms, right? Keeping the streets safer. This is also our first time seeing Vanson's stupid new move, where he whips his opponent into a corner, does a forward roll at them, and then runs away to hit the ropes before delivering, in this case, a rolling elbow. I wrote, shit. He will continue to do this for at least a year, so get used to it. Thanks to the audio compression, we hear Hade calling Aviv's hope spot, and Mayan duly ducks a chop and sends Vanson into the corner with a bunch of his own. Hade rolls through a twisting crossbody off the top, but Aviv manoeuvres around into a sleeper on his back. I quite like this. This looked good. Vanson is clearly working for some people in the crowd because there is a light chant of Thriller as he plonks Aviv on the top rope. And then he does his low-key impression, like kicking the shit out of his chest.
I was just about to say he's very much watching his low-key tapes and some of the stuff he's been doing and stuff like this.
Well, I think in our last review episode, one of you said, when James Ty had the match with Loki, it's like, this is the real Loki compared to the one we have at home.
Shrunken Loki even more.
Vanson climbs up the turnbuckles. Mayan headbutts him off, gets a 2 count off the Dragon Rana, and then runs into a tornado kick and gets pinned. I called it a decent 10 minutes. Like, nobody's going home saying, oh my God, you missed Hade versus Aviv, but it's good enough. Like, nobody embarrassed themselves, I don't think. 1 star from Andy?
No, 2.75 here.
Yeah, fair.
For me. I know I mentioned last time I thought Hade was... I was on the downslope with Hade saying he's a fucking actor playing a wrestler. I think he improved here, but that's because of the opponent. To be honest.
Yeah, you're a big Aviv fan, aren't you?
Yeah, I think Aviv Mayan's excellent. You know, you can see why they were giving him the push at the time because he's got a bit of potential about him. I mentioned about the style of the opponent. I just don't think Hade worked well with Roy Knight.
I think that's because he got sick of Roy beating the fuck out of him all the time.
Yeah.
The Knights are not going to do what you want them to do. They will not be maneuvered. Like, how much selling did Roy Knight do for Hade Vanson? Fuck all.
Absolutely nothing. I think it also gets the extra 3/4 of a star just because of the great theme tune. And it put me in a good mood. And my last note on here was Hade's best outing.
Interesting.
What's happened to me over the last month? It's like I'm liking Jack Xavier and Hade Vanson. What?
So something else to think about is that this match actually took place a good 3 months after whatever the last Hade match we saw was.
Right.
So there's been room for him to do some work in between. I don't know. I've not got his cage match up. Like, I don't know how many reps he's got in between these 2 points. Like, maybe there's been something else to it, like more and different work elsewhere, more training, that kind of thing. Go on, Eddie. I can see you researching.
Yes, I'm doing my research, but while I'm doing that, I'll just quickly say 2.5 for me. I thought it was okay. I don't think it was. I thought it was kind of it was the same as kind of match we had before, but a bit more of a heel face dynamic being kind of properly in it. I got more interested in it at the sprint at the end towards the kind of finish. There's a moment where you can hear Hade Vanson say, "Come on, little boy," and I really don't ever want to hear that again.
I hope there was a comma in that.
His theme song, yep, is pretty good. I will say that. But yeah, I thought it was okay. There is no. So what was the last Hade Vanson match we saw?
Oh God, I can't remember. You're asking me to keep track of this.
Oh, well, I can't see anything between the Vendetta. No, we didn't. We've not seen Vendetta 2004.
The last thing, the ladder match with Zebra, maybe.
So he's faced Kid Cool a number of times on All Star, and beat Phil Powers at All Star, Andy. So he must have, kind of learned.
Wow.
Flying Phil Flowers.
Yeah. And then obviously for 4 days after the ladder match, he lost with the Masked Emperor to Doug Williams and Paul Burchill for PWF. So maybe he learned after that. Maybe he's like, shit, I've got to work, especially when I'm losing a Kid Cool twice. Whatever the fuck that is. But yeah, I mean, I can see where Hade's character is developing more and being a little bit more of a shit and kind of being the sidekick towards. Or not the sidekick, but the protege towards Shane and stuff like that. Really couldn't have done with Shane's promo at the beginning bit of this when he obviously is announcing the replacement and doing the stuff with with whoever the guy is who we're going to speak about more. But just that promo, I'm sorry, I'm just going to have to go into that promo. Fucking annoyed me. Like the pick and mix bit. I was like, what are you going on about?
This was very typical of the Alex Shane just before the second match heel promo.
Yeah, it just felt, you kind of knew it was coming because you saw him as soon as his music played. You went, right, okay, they're going to give him a microphone and he's going to go off here. And then immediately, he was like, great, I'm not on TV at the moment. I don't need to kind of have a hold back on what I'm going to say, so I'm just going to start using the R word quite a lot.
He wouldn't hold back on TV either.
Well, you'd have to mute him, wouldn't you, if he was saying
Not
stuff
in
like
2004, you wouldn't.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, the pick
Yeah.
and mix bit really annoyed me. I don't care about your trip to the cinema, mate, and I don't care if you're going to keep going on about what Vince McMahon sees in wrestlers, and that's the same thing as you. Just
What do you
bad.
what do you think you watched at the cinema? You're now going to look up release dates, aren't you? No, let's not get into this. Let's carry on.
No, I was going to say Arnold Schwarzenegger is the one about Made of Iron or whatever it's called, because he always has trying to do
Pumping Iron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was okay.
So we get a jump scare as we go back to Ben in his cupboard. In the previous half an hour, I'd completely forgotten all about him. He says nothing of note, but his mic seems to have stopped working as he sounds different to the first link. Match number 3 is Spud versus Aviv Mayan. On the night these matches did not happen back to back, we have been spared Simmons versus Mark Sloan, which has been cut. Their name graphics have a sound effect on them as they come into place. This is the only match in which this happens, so great quality control, well done wrestle stuff. Your tale of the tape. Spud has the speed advantage, has one win tonight, and suffered an arm injury earlier, which I guess is why he's holding his ribs. Aviv has wrestled for the FWA title. He hasn't. Holds a win over Spud. He doesn't. And in fact, this is their only ever singles match. And lost earlier to Hade Vanson. This one is actually true. See, FWA can't even do 2 truths and a lie right. They got it the wrong way around. So, you'll be shocked to learn that small baby faces do chain wrestling. And this is where I noticed a lot is made of Spud's size. Like, it's his whole gimmick, right? Aviv is no bigger. He's just got abs. They're the same size, and it was so obvious, like when they're holding each other in hammerlocks and stuff, and their bodies are right there against each other. They're exactly the same size. Aviv just spends more time in the gym.
Yeah, it was like Aviv was like the Great Khali here next to Spud. You know, like the way they worked it, because it was very similar to the Jack Xavier match where he's just like having his way with him.
Yeah, so I'll get to that towards the end, I think. This is where I noticed you could see the open fire exit with the ring van outside. They do a spot where they rapidly trade arm drags until Spud puts on the brakes to avoid one and shoots the crowd a grin. And at this point, I realised how much he looks like 80s and 90s comedian Billy Pearce.
I've seen him live as well, Billy Pearce. And he did the
right.
Rocky Horror Picture Show. He was
really
the narrator.
All right, I then promptly Googled him and found out he's still alive and he is 74 years old.
I bet he's not aged either.
He probably hasn't, no.
You know.
Anyway, Spud's cheeky joy doesn't last very long as Aviv Northern lights him into the buckles and Spud collapses outside. Despite Spud having sold the ribs and us being told he has an arm injury, Aviv then goes to work on his neck as the crowd chant, "Let's go French fry." Surely Spud is less work, right? It's 4 letters. There is a wacky lucha submission that looks like a combination octopus and double arm chicken wing. So an octopus wing? Do octopi have wings? I don't know. Aviv does a gorilla press into an ushigoroshi, which has to be the only time he was ever able to bust that out. Imagine coming up with that as an idea and being the smallest man in the room. And then here comes Spud, and it's like, must be like Wayne's World, like Dreamweaver starts playing, and he's like, finally, I can do this move. He then very graciously double bumps for Spud's satellite DDT. Chop battle, and then they do the smallest ever Kane kicks Kane spot to double down. Mayan does a Dragon Kid style top rope Frankensteiner, and when it doesn't get the pin, he calls for another one, but Spud shoves him off and hits a huge frog splash that Rob Van Dam style, he hits so hard he bounces out of the cover. So he's holding his torso, and Aviv rolls to the outside. Spud connects with a massive double jump somersault off the top, but also hits his legs on the barrier. He is yelling, "Shit, shit, shit," and clutching his knee as the crowd chant FWA. So they really care about injuries in this promotion. Aviv rolls back in to beat the count, but Spud can't stand and is counted out. This is the one I went 2.5 on. It was interesting to see Aviv as the aggressor, and it's a bit of a minor foreshadowing as the despised heel he would become in IPW. I always remember it was Barry who would always tell me that guy's going to be a great heel. And I'm like, he's tiny and he's a baby face and he does flips, right? neck. He is destined to be a tiny baby for underdog the rest of his life. And Barry's like, no, you watch. And then in IPW, he became a massive shit, like a complete despicable arsehole. And this is nowhere near that, but it's the tiniest seed being sown that's to come. Spud, at this point, he simply doesn't work unless he is the underdog babyface. And I think they had a bit of a struggle because that's usually Aviv's role.
Mm.
I did find it very funny that we were told Spud had an arm injury coming in. He was selling his ribs on his entrance. Aviv worked over the neck. And then it's a knee injury that Atkins later calls his ankle that takes him out. So I guess he just exploded into a million pieces backstage.
He's just like in a big body cast, isn't he?
Yes.
He's okay.
Yeah. Got like 3 functioning fingers and that's it. Fingers and a nose sticking out of a body cast.
I went 2.5 on it as well. I thought the action was all right for what was there, like quite short time. When he got counted out, I thought, hold up, this is similar to the last round robin tournament where was it Jody Fleisch who got eliminated out due to injury, and they're like, fucking hell, is Jerry Lynn turning up to Enfield to win it all? Ooh. Oh, somebody's injured, lads. Do you need me?
Luckily, I've got my gear.
But yeah, 2.5. I enjoyed it. Spud's been good value on this episode, and Aviv Mayan, continues to be pretty good.
I the high man on this. I went 3. I think if this is 2 main guys you'd put forward as the future of the kind of company in essence within that if you put a little bit more in them. Aviv is kind of technically good as a wrestler, and Spud has obviously got the gimmick of being the babyface and doing the kind of high spots and stuff like that. I have put my first thing was I want to see the lad Stelling and Spud Julie obliges, even if it's just him holding one arm close to the sternum, and then obviously Mayan comes out and does exact the same thing, holding one arm close to the sternum. So it's like they went, shall we just go out together and do the same thing?
It's the shorthand for I have already had a match tonight, isn't it?
It's like you can't hold your neck. You just have to go, right, okay, I'm just going to hold my hand real close to my sternum and go, oh. I think at the end, obviously, with the 20 count, it went a bit flat after that. But I thought it was okay. I thought it was pretty decent. They both kind of do well. Spud, just a wild man. As soon as he kept saying shit, I was like, oh no. Am I getting worked here again? But then, he's been taken to a local hospital. But yeah, I thought this was fine.
So Spud, by the way, is out of the tournament. So his match with Hade has been declared a draw, and they both get 10 points. Surely that's a forfeit win for Vanson, right?
Spud's not going to need the fucking points. He's just shattered his eye.
Imagine if those had been the 10 points that had tipped it over the edge, and the guy who's been taking the last bit wins the tournament.
Spud has qualified with these 10 points, and then you hear Jerry Lynn music coming. Go, do you need me, brothers?
Yeah, so the first one, I then wrote, the FWA really suck at booking these tournaments. The first one had AJ Styles doing 1 match less than he was meant to, and then it was won by a guy who wasn't in it. This one, they false advertised someone, robbed the crowd of a match, and then ballsed up the scoring. So John does a recap. Aviv has 15 points, Jack Xavier has none, Hade has 30, Spud has 30, but he's out. So Hade Vanson, despite only wrestling 1 match, is somehow in the lead. Match number 4, Jack Xavier versus Aviv Mayan, the duality of Andy Ogden in 1 match. The tail of the tape is Jack is showing a lot of intensity, the clear fan favourite tonight, beaten in a shock pin last match. Aviv is a Capricorn, likes long walks on the pitch. I'm sorry. He has taken a tremendous beating, is working a purer style tonight, and may be hiding an injury. Would you believe we start with chain wrestling and headlocks? So while they were doing this, I remembered I had donuts in the fridge, and when I came back, Aviv had Xavier in the rings of Saturn. By the time I finished my donut, this hadn't gone anywhere, and Aviv was back in a headlock. So Mayan drop kicks Xavier outside and goes for a slingshot Rana, but Jack catches him, power bombs him on the apron, and as in the Xavier Spud match, wangs him into the guardrail.
Same spot as well.
I thought it was the other side. I was like, at least he was being even, like trying to dent them all evenly. Jack is in control when they get back in the ring, once again getting to play aggressor to a smaller opponent. Aviv turns a suplex into a cradle for a very close near fall, then snaps off a flying head scissors. He goes for a runner, but Xavier throws him off, boots him in the head, and hits the jackliner. It's at this point I noticed that the ringside attendant appears to be a young and slender Chris Hatch.
All right.
Referee of many, many years. I've already spotted his not then, but has been for many years, wife in the crowd.
Yeah.
Aviv comes back in with a tornado DDT and a top rope crossbody, another one, for a 2 count. And Jack practically does a swanton in selling a top rope Frankensteiner. Xavier with the Nipzagiri, and I hate that my iPad now recognises that as a word. Mayan goes for his around the world reverse DDT, but Jack reverses it into the Xaviator and gets the pin. I'm going with another 2.5 to 3 star fine match. Nothing bad, nothing astonishing. The important thing about this match, though, is that it is an important chapter in this story. So while he was focused in the opener, Jack's match against Spud was just a match. It's just the first match for a tournament. After that is when his nemesis, Hade Vanson, gets inserted into the tournament, and Jack now knows he has to win this one to get to fight him. That's his motivation. This match is over quite quickly. It's 7 or 8 minutes. They don't go very long. He does at least shake hands with Aviv afterwards.
Yeah, he's very much using the mean streak more than anything going into this, and it's carrying on from. Yeah, but he's still likable enough because he's still obviously doing some crowd work and stuff like that. But when it comes down to the match,
it's a more subtle and less overt thing that happens quite a lot in wrestling, which is I have to go through my friend to get to the thing I want. Yeah, no, not quite. There's NXT hand staring going on. You notice, as I said in the first one, he doesn't shake Spud's hand. The character of Jack Xavier doesn't know the character of Spud, right? But he does know Aviv, and he's like, I'm sorry, but I had to do that to get what I want.
Yeah.
Any thoughts about the match?
2.75 I gave it. First note was the Battle of the Friends, because they've sort of been the alliance to end Alex Shane Mania, haven't they? I enjoyed it as a match. I think a lot of these matches are your 2 3/4 star, 3-star specials, but there's nothing offensive. I just thought it was a decent match. I enjoyed the power bomb into the barrier spot. I thought, look cruel, that.
Yeah, 2.5. I mean, I think the spot with the guardrail taking the pasting from the powerbomb position and stuff like that was really good. I think this also is kind of Jack Xavier's redemption tour for Randy Ogden, in essence, the way he's kind of trying to perform during these. But yeah, 2.5.
Did anyone catch what Ben said in the next link? Because I was getting a drink while this ran and couldn't be asked rewinding when I came back.
Oh, this is the bit where he says, Spud is rushed to hospital, so he's out. Bye, Spud.
So, it's time for our only non-tournament match. Our mystery Paperboy is revealed as being PJ Black, yes, the future Justin Gabriel. This is his only main roster FWA singles match. He would have 2 6-mans at the MCM booth shows the next year, but those 3 matches are his entire FWA career. He did train at the Academy and was on a bunch of their shows, but he had actually debuted in South Africa at the age of 16 in 1997. Shane, of course, wants the mic again. He takes a long time to tell PJ he's got till the count of 10 to go backstage and live to fight another day, or he can stay and get a beating. And then, of course, Black teases walking out and then charges back into the ring to fight. This is the same as all the other Alex Shane versus Young Babyface matches we have seen and will continue to see. The I'm so much taller than you test of strength tease, the rope-assisted abdominal stretch. It's just him bullying and belittling his opponent and then stooging for their hope spots.
Kieran, that knuckle lock spot, I howled at what Alex said. It was like, is that the best you've got for me? And then as he fucking gets fucking reversed and he's like fucking in pain. I was like, it's proper camp show Alex Shane in it.
Yep, this is your Butlins match that has invaded your FWA show. There is one particular kid very happy to see Alex get clotheslined to the floor. Like he runs up and starts shaking the guardrail. Alex uses PJ's hair to pull him into a wrist lock, and then when Quilden admonishes him, claims Black doesn't have any hair. So Black does his backflip to reverse an arm lock, and Alex goes, I can do that flippy shit, watch this, and then runs up the turnbuckles and jumps off and does an eye poke. PJ uses his own eye poke, a couple of drop kicks, but gets hammered into the mat with a big boot when he hesitates going for a clothesline. Sticks gets some boots in when PJ gets chucked outside. PJ springboards back in but gets caught in the choke bomb. Stick, just one. Again, then chokes PJ in the corner while LSR can be seen going to have a word with whoever threw a plastic bottle at the ring.
I was going to say the spot where Andy Q blocks Alex from grabbing the rope.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we get into that. All right. So greetings from Finsbury Park gets a 2, and then we go into the Sticks assisted abdominal stretch. So we're mixing it up. Quilden suspects foul play, and after a brief hope spot from PJ, goes and stands behind Alex when he tries it a third time, resulting in an incredible reaction face from Shane when he realises he's been caught cheating.
Amazing, and it's like proper comedy.
It is getting screen grabbed and will be going up when we put this link out. So anybody listening to this, you've already seen it.
It's so good, especially when he's like saying that, when he's like screaming like no, and it's just like, oh, it's just beautiful.
Yep. So Black reverses that. Alex hip tosses him to the floor. Alex then holds PJ for a clothesline from Sticks, but PJ ducks and Shane takes the hit. PJ then wipes out both heels with a flip tope, hitting his ankles on the railing in the same way Spud did earlier, but he's just tougher, I guess. Back inside, PJ reverses the check up from a neck up into a crap stunner, and the crowd are still surprised when Alex kicks out. Springboard crossbody for another near fall, and then Alex is given a yellow card, Eddie, for using a low blow. Which gets an on-screen graphic.
Loved it.
See if they did that. I don't know if they did it during the TV show where they did the graphic, but I would love seeing more of that.
I'm pretty sure I never had a yellow or red card graphic. Mostly because you barely see them on TV. Like, what was the point? People just kick each other in the nuts and it's fine, you know. Remember Nikita, like, just punching Stevie Knight in the bollocks right in front of the ref?
Oh, yeah. He just suddenly punching the ball.
Yeah, and then winning. Shane points out that the turnbuckle pad has mysteriously fallen off, and as Quilden goes to get it, PJ reverses a head into the exposed buckle and snags a roll-up. So much head shaking going on my screen. The ref, of course, too interested in putting the pad back, so misses it, and Alex kicks out.
Hated that spot.
You're supposed to. They got you.
I know, but it was just like, he saw it right in front of him, like bloody PJ Black doing the manoeuvre and ready for a pin. He's like, no, I'll just check it. I'll just fix this buckle instead. Like,
priorities.
We are supposed to have like little IQ at some point until when we're needed to have a big IQ wrestling referees. So.
It's a slider, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like...
If you take Eddie's shirt off, it's in his back. It's like a dial. You turn.
It's actually imprinted at the back. Like, you know, like when the Buzz Lightyear doll that goes from English to, like, Spanish.
That's your problem. Somebody turned this thing to evil. Hey, that's the Steve Linsky one. So, Black slips off the ropes going for something, but turns the choke bomb into a Hurricane Rana for another near fall. Sticks tries to prevent a 450 splash but gets clobbered to the floor, and the distraction is enough for Alex to roll clear of it though and hit the one night stand for the pin. I went 2 stars, same old shit but executed well enough. Black does not look like he's been wrestling for 7 years.
2.75. I enjoyed the...
Yeah, but you've got an Alex Shane bias.
And I enjoyed the camp show stuff. The facial was great by Alex, and Justin Gabriel, one of the better looking trainees. He was definitely bringing sexy Black, weren't he?
He is potentially the best looking man in Enfield on that night, isn't he?
He is. He's pulling all the women in the nightclubs.
He's been a model in South Africa.
Did he?
And has won like modelling and fitness contests. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a handsome boy.
Yeah, but he's absolutely no bloody personality, has he? He was like that on WWE as part of the Nexus and all that rubbish on that. He was rubbish on 5-star wrestling. he would be that import that, right, we've only got so much in the budget this month for someone. PJ Black's worth 200 quid. Let's get him in. He's not selling a fucking ticket, is he?
Well, obviously he's not an import here. So he was living in the UK. He lived here for like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
And then went back to South Africa for a couple of years and then got his WWE, his FCW deal.
I'm very happy to see Global Force Wrestling Next Gen champion PJ Black on this. I think, as he develops and as he grows on, he does get a personality. I mean, I'm glad that Andy Ogden has just explained Fludder's tips for how to book someone when he needed spare cash in the prime of boom of BritWres. This is just typical Shaneverse. With you could replace PJ Black with Mayan, you could replace it with Spud, and it'd probably be even more entertaining, I would say, at a level in terms of that with Big Man, Little Man.
Around this time, I was also shooting other shows. Very often there was an Alex Shane versus local babyface match on those shows. So I saw him also do this with Stevie Lynn, Jamie Idol, Damon Lee, or anybody who was like 21 years old and just getting started in wrestling was doing this match with Alex at some point.
I think it's one of those things, and you know what's happening because you know. The only time I've ever been surprised by this type of matchup is when he finally decided that he was going to let his shoulders hit the mat and give Aviv a kind of rub in terms of that. But other than that, you're very lucky. You need Alex Shane to like you if you're going to end up winning this type of match. But it's the same of what we've seen before. I get Andy loves it because obviously it's that kind of thing. For me, it's just a bit where the cheating spot where Cowden catch him, that's great. The yellow card being used, great. I mean, PJ gets an FWA chant going from a dive. The 450, even though Shane moves out the way, still looks good. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, I kept having Wild and Young, the NXT theme song, in my head when I saw Justin Gabriel / PJ Black. But you kind of also, you are right in terms of he doesn't look like someone who has wrestled for 7 years. It's kind of like it's like basically he's went to the FW Academy and Mark and Alex have told him, forget everything you know, kid. You're just gonna have to work this way at this point.
Eddie, wouldn't you agree though that Alex Shane has had these matches with Aviv Mayan and PJ Black? He's very offering at getting these people over, isn't he? He's not just like steamrolling. If you beat a nobody, then you've beaten a nobody.
I think I agree with Kieran on that. Don't get me wrong, he does give to people, absolutely, but I know we've known each other so long, and I get your name wrong. I like Kieran. But I think, I don't know, the match, again, it's the Shane versus we talk about in terms of that, but you need to have something behind you for the win against Alex to mean something. And that's why, like, Aviv kind of when Aviv wins against Alex, I think it's the first time that they've wrestled each other on, or is it the second they wins?
Aviv has beat Alex on TV twice.
So there you go. That kind of means that we establish Aviv as a main character. Shane definitely does give, and he definitely does give guys spots and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's I don't know why, he wins all shenanigans, has to win in some kind of heel way, but it's basically big guy beating little guy and making comments and stuff like that. So I do get your point, Andy.
So something I meant to mention before, because I said, like 21 and like just starting in wrestling, the rest of it. Spud at this point is 21 years old.
Jesus.
He's that good already, and he's 21. And I think he's been like 2 or 3 years in.
So bloody hell, he's only in his early 40s, like same age as me.
Yeah.
Spud very good at this stage, and now I would have been in the back of a container unloading suitcases.
And I'm sure you were very good at that.
I was. I was probably the same weight as Spud as well.
Just a foot taller.
Before I started eating all of the Spuds.
So we go back to Ben's bedroom as his mic is working again, and in fact is highly stereo separated. This link sounded like it was coming from all around my living room. All he does is say it's the main event, Jack Xavier versus Hayden Vanson for $5,000, which John Atkins also says when we cut back to the ring. So indeed, Hayden Vanson versus Jack Xavier, the dark and the light of the FWA. Who wins the battle of the theme music, Andy?
Hayden Vanson.
I thought that'd be your answer somehow. Our final tale of the tape. Hade has a clear points advantage. He has 30 to Jack's 20. The Shane and Sticks factor, and fans not behind the champ, whereas Jack is catching up on points. I don't know how he can do that progressively. It doesn't make sense in this context. He's showing an aggressive style and coming into the match alone. No grappling, no chain wrestling, no headlocks here. These two bastards just fight. They tear into each other from the get-go. Hade takes the advantage with a knee strike off the middle rope and a pair of German suplexes, but Xavier fighting spirits up off the second one and goes on the attack with a screaming flying forearm in the corner and a rolling elbow before clotheslining Hade outside. Hade stalls and kills time. He's got no interest in fighting a brummy lunatic. Eventually, though, said brummy lunatic has had enough waiting around and goes for a tope. Hade dodges and Xavier crashes hard into the railings. Yeah, he wasn't afraid of an occasional suicide mission, was Jack?
That's going to live with me for a while, seeing that, because he just kamikazed himself out of nowhere.
Do you know what it reminded me very much of? Young, unmasked, chubby Psychosis. Like, he would do these guys very much the same way and didn't seem to care whether he hit his opponent or not.
Yeah.
So back inside, Hade pulls Jack into a turnbuckle and goes to work with knees and kicks on the back of the head and a Liger bomb. But Xavier rolls clear of a top rope headbutt. Hade does his Hadouken again and some low-key stuff. But Jack ducks the silly sniper shotgun kick and flattens him with an enziguri. Somehow, 6'6" Alex Shane has snuck to ringside and pulls Quilden out of the ring when he goes to count. And then pulls him into Xavier's path when Jack charges. Andy, I thought, took a great bump off this into the railings and the hard floor because you don't see Jack coming. He just zooms into the camera shot and forearms him in the face. Jack turns around into a big boot from Shane. The editing, unfortunately, gives away that PJ Black is in the ring and he wipes out Shane with a plunger. Sticks runs out and attacks Black and holds him for Alex. Aviv sprints to the ring, though, coming off the top rope over Black and Sticks to dive onto Shane. Mayan, Black, and the Leather Jacket Appreciation Society of London then brawl to the back, leaving Xavier and Hansen to finish off their match. The crowd are loudly chanting for Xavier as both men are in the ring, and they stagger back into each other, and when they turn around, Jack hooks the Xaviator, Quilden flops into the ring and counts to 3. Your winner of the match and the tournament, and the fake $5,000 in Monopoly money, is Jack Xavier. Were you also expecting a lot more to come after the other baby faces had cleared the heels out?
More like bollocks and shenanigans.
No, not bollocks and shenanigans. Just like maybe some more near falls. But maybe it's like this is what modern wrestling has become. But I was thought like, okay, like they all the outside interference has been cleared out. They're finally 1-on-1 and they can go for it. And then it's one move and it's over. Yeah,
generally, like today's stuff is like all the characters you think are like involved all swan off, and then some mysterious person in a black hoodie turns up, and it's another Tongan, in it, or a Samoan,
or Gabe Kidd,
yeah. They didn't prolong it. That's what I enjoyed about it.
I guess there's that, yeah. I like that this wasn't like any of the other matches. Everything else had been a lot of nice wrestling and standard stuff, and this was two guys who hated each other and wanted to have a fight.
Yeah.
It's still not the best match tonight. I'm going 3 1/4. It's a decent end to the tournament, and it rounds out the story.
Yeah, I went 3 stars on it. You know, good stuff on the outside again. That suicide dive which went into that guardrail again. Fucking hell! I bet Shane was having kittens that evening. Like,
what about the poor people sat behind it? They pay for their front row seats, and they've been partially responsible for injuring Spud, and now Jack Xavier has nearly died in front of them as well.
Yeah, the Cactus Jack sent on by Jack was very good.
Oh, I missed that. Yeah, he does the like the flip off the apron, and it properly is Cactus Jack because he hits Vanson, he hits the guardrail, and you can see him bash the top of his head on the floor.
Yeah, plus he's like the same barrel shape as Cactus Jack, so good imitation there. I will say the crowd loved Jacket Xavier here.
Yeah,
and even like later on when they had all the bollocks with everyone fighting amongst each other, the crowd, you've got to say, the crowd in Enfield that night they just went mad for it.
Yeah, they were up for it.
And I think that adds to the viewing pleasure, and maybe my extra viewing pleasure of Jack Xavier on this tournament.
Do you remember the last TV review show we did? There was that Jack Xavier promo where he was talking very quietly about the fire that was inside Jack Xavier that's coming out. This was it. This was what should have been in the Last Man Standing match. Imagine this Jack Xavier fighting Alex Shane and chucking him through a table.
I was thinking, is that a Brummy or is that Jeffro?
I just, if you close your eyes and everything, you can think Frank Skinner's talking to you in terms of that. I went 3.75 on this. I enjoyed. I thought the heat from the start of this match was great. I think it's about time because, again, I remember we were watching, it was the Xavier Shane match. I don't think we even got this amount of heat to begin with, really, compared to what we got in this. I think the people getting involved kind of makes sense. I do get your point because obviously it just the people came in and did their stuff and then it went straight to the finish rather than kind of you'd expect some kind of one false finish with a finishing move and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The jump from Aviv Mayan was incredible. I love that. That was wild. Yeah, I thought this was a pretty decent ending to it. And I think they clicked today, really, as far as I'm concerned, within this. Yeah. Some of the damage some of these guys took, but it was like Jack basically worked in overtime, realizing he was going to win this, and kind of actually thought, right, I can't be this happy-go-lucky character really especially after I've done that promo. I have to kind of show some kind of fire proper, otherwise it's just going to be all for not. In 20 years later, 3 guys are going to record a podcast and go, well, he didn't really show any fire, did he, at that point? And one of them hates me consistently at that point. So, like, you know...
yeah, but at least 30% of that is the music.
Yeah, that's fair. And the gear. The music and the gear, really, more than anything.
Gear, yeah.
But yeah, I thought this was a really decent ending to it. Again, it's going to be no touch on seasons beatings. That is my tournament of ever now at this point, as I've kind of been very clear on it. But yeah, I thought getting what they needed to done was fine.
So let's quickly wrap up this DVD. Post-match, Aviv and PJ come out to help Xavier celebrate, and Xavier challenges Vanson for the All England title. Shane reappears to convince Hay to leave the ring, and we are done. The credits list Sanjay Bagga as an editor, but it looks too good to have been him. I suspect it was Ian, with Sanjay taking the credit. Video production listed as Psycho S Team, presumably because Ian and I were gone and he didn't know who Russ was. Ben, the presenter, gets his surname spelt wrong, and Bagger puts himself in the special thanks segment. The only 2 people who appear to get their names spelt correctly at all and be named correctly are Sanjay Bagger and Phil Austin. Also, there's a Mike Groom listed, who may or may not be the 3CW promoter. I couldn't find out. I think this might have been the best night of Jack Xavier's career. He was put over big, had the 3 best matches on the show, got to beat his nemesis and current All England champion, showed the fire he claimed that it was burning inside him, and only lost to the exciting newcomer in an upset. This as a whole might be better than the Last Man Standing match. In terms of Xavier performance, for sure, I think.
Yeah, I think you can tell. Like, I've been impressed, so it must have been a great night for him.
He's not being passively dragged into an Alex Shane match. Like, he's getting to show different sides of him. Yeah, I thought it was really good for that.
He's also getting to be the big man in these things, because like in 2 of the matches, he's the taller guy. And there's a story built within this tournament. Like, he finally finds out it's going to be Hayde Vanson. So he kind of, as you say, doesn't shake hands with Spud because technically doesn't know Spud. Shakes hands with Amivayan after, but realizes what he's got to do to kind of try and get to that final spot. Even though, to be fair, in a typical FWA way, the tournament gets screwed over by, an injury. But I think, he's done, again, he's shown the fire that we need to see on the TV. If we don't see that, then it's all for nothing, and it's just a case of,
So please remember, whatever Jack Xavier match we see next will have been taped before this.
Oh, okay. Where's fire
Keep that
going?
one in mind. Keep that in mind.
I thought this DVD was massively cheapened by the presenter segments. They look like dog shit. It also suffered from not having commentary.
Yeah,
And I guess it was
No.
Well,
Absolutely
so
not.
I didn't say Nick London and Tony Giles. I said commentary.
No, but
I guess it was just cheaper for Bagger to get Ben to stick a sheet up and do those than it was to pay even him to come and do comms over an hour and a half of wrestling.
he looked like he'd been at gunpoint, hadn't he, doing them bloody promos, yeah.
Yeah. So I probably wouldn't be too happy if I'd been given this DVD. However, if I'd gone to my local leisure centre and paid 20 quid and got this as a live show, unless that Simmons versus Sloan match we didn't get to see was an absolute stinker, I'd probably be quite happy with this. It's mostly 3 stars, but like nobody shits the bed. Like it's all generally like decent quality independent wrestling of the time. Like it's a decent show. I would never recommend anyone to go and watch it. Certainly not over seasons beatings, but it's fine. Like the wrestling is fine and it tells a story throughout the show.
I would agree with that. I enjoyed it as 1 hour, 40 minutes. I thought it was a good, easy watch. I enjoyed myself watching the Spud matches. Xavier was good. Aviv Mayan was good. I liked Tate Vanson's music. There wasn't much guff on it, and I think it was nice to watch the show without commentary. And I think it's because the crowd was hot and into it.
Yeah.
It didn't need Tony, Tony Giles and Nick London talking shit.
Yeah, I just felt the stories could have been told better through commentary rather than a bloke standing in front of a sheet that's been nailed to his living room wall. That was all.
Yeah.
Well, remember, he's not in his bedroom. He is at the Enfield Centre,
where they've stuck a sheet to a wall somewhere in the leisure centre. Yeah,
where they've hid him in the centre. I have no idea, but he's clearly got a black curtain behind him, and he's just kind of making it along as he goes on.
Janitor's closet. That curtain is covering up all the cleaner, and he's standing over the Hoover. So that is it for the Enfield Round Robin tournament. Don't know what else to say. Let's just do the plugs. Eddie, tournament. What's going on?
I'm a sad man. Write whatever you want about me. Still very heartbroken about losing out on the 5starwrestling.com domain. You can find me at Eddie Sideburns on Blue Sky. You can find me on a locked account, retired in X/Twitter.
Stop plugging it then.
I know, it's just there. The tournament is currently still trying to be reworked. I'm not going to talk about the numbers at the moment because, again, I need to try and find out whoever bought the domain and see if I can buy it off them the same way that Stephen Fludder once bought the World of Wrestling or BritishWrestling.com, where he stole one of the gimmicks from World of Sport. It was really, really funny when it happened. But yeah, you can find me on here. Obviously, I've got the Grapple podcast, which I've promoted the CCW ROH Anatomy of a Feud. But yeah. Happy to be here as always. This tournament was okay. I really did think, but again, still no match.
Going to use it as a blueprint for the 5-star tournament at all?
No, because we're going to have more people, I'm afraid. But
okay, fine.
We'll figure it out.
Lots of people going out due to injury.
Yeah.
Andy, craps and claps.
Yeah, follow me at Oggy Part 3 on X. Follow the Craps and Claps podcast at GCP Podcast 1. Just go and listen back to all of our back catalogue of shite, Reslows, UWA, Transatlantic Wrestling Challenge, all the live episodes as well. And we've got me and Kieran recording an episode of Reslow coming up where we're looking at Orig Williams in a music video, Bryn Fonn as the Welsh Robbie Williams, and much more.
Yes, indeed. We certainly will have a lot to talk about, I think. As for this show, you can find everything to do with us at linktr.ee/FWA pod. We are on Twitter, Blue Sky, and YouTube at FWA pod, and at Instagram at FWA.pod. As for me personally, you can follow at Kieran Edits on Blue Sky. Thank you very much for listening. Next month, normal service will be resumed, and there's 2 things you can do about it.
South City Thriller. Yeah. Thriller. You ready? Stand easy. Beware. The South City Thriller. Hey, Vance. He's a killer. Yo, Hade Manson is the man, he is the South City thriller. Beware all of those kids, I say here comes the killer. Said I'm feeling kinda sick or cramped up, feeling iller, and my nerves are getting frayed. Watch out who's behind ya. So now this be the beat that me like to chat to. This where the people coming out true. All of them and them are coming and chat with the people. They know them I see me some passing the Hade Manson with the South City thriller. Said a man coming and sitting my killer. Beware kids, here comes a killer. Hade Manson, South City thriller. Yeah, I said the ultimate bad boy killer on the vibe. You know. South City thriller. The South City thriller. Thriller. This Torture Fest was brought to you by Hade Manson, the South City thriller.